Hello everyone, welcome back to another Tacticus Synergies video. This is Caveman, and today we are going to be talking about Laviscus. I've been making some other content, thanks for bearing with me with all my other shorts and stuff I've been releasing recently. We're back to the Synergies videos, and this is the first video in a series now on raid characters. I'm shifting from campaigns to guild raid characters and synergies that work really well within these meta teams. But usually, I have one or two, maybe 3 or 4 characters that work really well together that I like to talk about. And you'll see Laviscus is up here by himself. And there's a reason for that. And that's not to say he doesn't have a synergy. Laviscus definitely has a synergy. He is incredible and pairs so well. He's the best character in the game at pairing well with raid bosses. So his character is not one of your characters. The characters that Laviscus pairs well with are raid bosses, and the reason for that all comes down to his passive, Refusal to be Outdone. So I'll read it real quick. Friendly characters attacking enemies adjacent to Laviscus increase his outrage equal to the highest damage dealt by another of their non-psychic hits this turn. Laviscus' damage stat is increased by 120% of his outrage, and his normal attacks deal an additional crit damage for other friendly characters that increase his outrage this turn. At the end of this turn, after Laviscus performs a normal attack, his outrage resets. So it's per turn. This makes Laviscus's damage numbers go absolutely bonkers. And the reason I say he only pairs well with raid bosses is he kind of sucks otherwise. Hot take. Laviscus is a terrible character. I am not one for raids. I'm becoming more of a fan of raids after really getting into the meta, but I was never a huge fan of raids as like the best mode. I know people love raids, and that's why a lot of the players are here. The raids are the best mode for them, their favorite mode. It's the best ROI for sure. It's the best, best return on investment and bang for your buck. But if you're not a fan of raids, don't build Laviscus. He has no other really redeeming traits about him aside from he hits one target really hard after all the rest of his team have hit that exact same target. That's it. That's his whole thing, which, just saying that out loud, makes him the best raid character in the game. I mean, it's kind of interesting that he is tailor-made for guild raids. And I don't know, he has some other uses here and there, like maybe in a war team or whatever, but no, this guy is just for raids. And as you can see, despite me kind of hating this character, I have him maxed at Mythic, Adamantine 2, level 60. So you gotta build him. If you're gonna build a raid team, there's a reason everyone has Laviscus teams, because he just is the best because of this passive. As far as other modes go, I mean, he doesn't have sustain, he doesn't have a heal, he doesn't summon, he's pretty squishy, he only attacks one character with one hit, he has no AoE. Yeah, like in LRVs, I mean, he's kind of useless. In Tournament Arena, where you're trying to get like an Alpha Strike team that, does that, he doesn't have a lot of movement. You can hit one character at a time, and all of his abilities basically center around him only hitting characters that have already been hit before or next to enemies. Wait, let's see. Okay, so he could be buffed by other people attacking enemies adjacent to Laviscus. So if he's next to 2 or 3 enemies and you hit other enemies, maybe that adds to his buff. But really, we're talking about everybody hitting the exact same target, which when you're in Guild War, when you're in Arena, when you're in Tournament Arena, when you're doing campaigns, you're not going to all be attacking the same target. Usually there's 10 targets and you hit 6 of them, or something like that. However, as much as I love to shit on Laviscus because, he kind of sucks otherwise, he's amazing for raids. I mean, let's just go over his passive one more time. So, okay, friendly characters attacking enemies adjacent to Laviscus. So if you put Laviscus next to a boss, enemies, that means he's an enemy adjacent to Laviscus. So anybody that's attacking that boss, friendly characters, increases outrage. So his outrage is this thing that you'll see when I pull up a raid. Equal to the highest damage dealt by any of their non-psychic hits. And actually, this is an interesting thing. I think it goes off of a single hit, not necessarily like the full attack. So forgive me if I'm wrong, and feel free to correct me in the comments, but I don't think he adds on everybody else's full attacks and stacks that onto his outrage. It's more like he takes the best hit of somebody's attack if that makes sense, and then adds that onto his outrage. So if someone has a one-hit attack and they deliver 20,000 damage, well, he's stacking on that 20,000 to the outrage, and actually gets multiplied by 1.2 basically because of the 120%. So that's great. But if someone has a 5-hit attack, he's actually only taking the best of those 5 hits and stacking that onto his outrage. That's how I understand it. Let me know how that works. But either way, if a friendly character hits a boss, then and Laviscus is next to that boss, then he's going to increase his outrage. So every single time another character, and it stacks, so then the second friendly character hits the boss, you further increase his outrage. And then the third character hits the boss, you further increase his outrage. So he just gets more and more outraged every time someone else is hitting the boss and he's not. He's like, he gets jealous. He's like, why is everyone hitting the boss? I want to be the best. I'm going to do better than all of you guys. And let me show you how big of a hit I can get. So his damage stat, so his outrage is 1 figure. That tallies up all the hits that he's watching all of his friends do, basically. And then his damage stat is increased by 120% of his outrage. So not only does it take the best hits, add them all together, it then multiplies it by 1.2 and adds it onto his already pretty high damage stat. So his numbers just get crazy. His damage stat gets increased like an insane amount. And then I'm going to show you a raid as well, which is another part of this. His outrage and his normal attacks deal an additional, I have this max, so like additional 1,000 damage, crit damage for each friendly chaos character that has increased his outrage. So there's a little synergy with chaos. If you have other chaos characters they're attacking, it boosts his crit damage. That's nice, but really it's the outrage that is gonna make this guy absolutely insane. All right, so here we are in a raid boss fight by one of my guildmates who absolutely destroyed Call in this fight. I wanted to do this one because Karn is here, so you can actually see a little bit of that chaos synergy, but again, it's not super important. The real synergy, like I said, is between Laviscus and the boss itself. So let's see. I'll show you this. So Laviscus goes next to the boss. That's crucial because you want him next to the boss first, so that way all the damage that is going to be applied to the boss after he stood next to him will stack to his damage. And look, this is his damage stat, 4895. That's his base damage stat. He gets 1 hit, but then you'll see everyone gets in position, and after Dante attacks, that increases. It turns green. That means there's a buff applied. Increases by 1700. That's already huge. But wait, Carrion hasn't attacked yet. So Carrion attacks, does a massive hit. Look at that, 20,000 damage. So Refusal to be Outdone is now stacking and adding 15,000 damage. You can see, where is it? His outrage is somewhere, but yeah, he's getting stacked like crazy. And then here we go. Let's do. You're gonna attack, and now 26,000 damage on high ground. So he's gonna deliver a massive blow, 36k against Call. All right, next turn's gonna be even bigger. Watch this, because Carrion's gonna get high ground, use his active, everybody goes. Karn's gonna use his passive now. You get everybody piled in, attacking this boss. So again, he already has a buff because of just from Karn's passive attack, so that's already huge. And again, because Karn attacked, you can see Refusal to be Outdone. He adds a little bit of extra crit damage just because a Chaos ally attacked the same boss. And here we go. Carrion's gonna do, after this, Carrion's gonna do massive damage. Boom. And let's see what it is now, 63,000. Can I get 64? Can I get 65? Here we go, here we go. All right, 69, 75, 79,000. All right, so he's gonna deliver just an absolute whack, 231k, huge, huge. All right, and then I'm just gonna play the rest of this fight, the same thing, but yeah, you can notice that first thing you do is put Laviscus next to the boss, and then hit with everybody. He's gonna make his damage stat go crazy, and then at the end you hit last with Laviscus because that's how he'll hit after he's gotten his outrage stacked super high. This was actually quite a risky run, kind of like moved some of his characters into the beam, but it worked out well for him. All right, here's the last attack, and I wanted to slow this down and show this to you because final hit, they call it a big hit for a reason. It's usually a huge amount of damage comes on that very last hit. So Again, his base stat is 4,300, something like that. You're getting stacked so far, and right now it's 9,000 damage. Carrion's going to deliver his biggest hit of the game. Boom, that pushed it up to 67. Karn's going to do his active. Now it's pushed up to 86. Dante attacks. And... Alright, so not over 100k, but 94,000 is still a massive damage number. And one other thing he has as well is Crushing Strike. So this really rewards you if you're able to manipulate the boss and not have him move around. It deals an extra 50% of damage with your melee attacks if he hasn't moved, which he hasn't because he was there last turn, and Paul moved a little bit, but it doesn't matter. Laviscus has stayed put, which gives him plus 50% damage, plus the outrage of making his damage stat 94k, plus the high ground. So he really is tailor-made for raids. If you're able to manipulate the boss and use him properly, he does incredible amounts of damage. And let's go ahead and see how much he's gonna do. 282,000 damage with one hit, baby. That is awesome. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of this guy because I personally think he sucks in just about every other mode, but as you can see from that raid, he is the GOAT of guild raids. And yeah, it's all due to his passive ability. So that's Laviscus, that's the synergy right there. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you wouldn't mind, please use my friend code if you haven't already, OFT87HAM, and let me know what synergies you want to see. I'm going to start working through the guild raid teams and then go to some other niche pairings. But if you have ideas, please let me know. I want to hear them. I want to learn from you guys. So let me know. All right. Thanks, guys. I will see you in the next video.